Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Simply Michelle, and happy to have you. So yes, I have been reading the story called Chance at Love. There are two previous videos before this one, so if you're here for the first time, to get a clear understanding of what is happening, you can rally back and check those videos afterwards. And without itching, let's get right into the story. Chapter 13, Slipping Away. For the first time since he had arrived in Jamaica, Greg felt the silence cut deeper than words ever could. Days passed with Amora moving around him as if he were just another guest, another fleeting presence in her world. She smiled when necessary, polite and careful, but it wasn't the same smile that once lingered for him. The smile that used to hold warmth. She avoided his gaze at breakfast. She no longer lingered by his table at lunch. And when the evening came, she didn't walk with him to the beach as she once had. To everyone else, it might have seemed like nothing had changed. To Greg, it was a gaping wound. One evening, despite, and desperate, he waited for her outside the inn. He knew she should pass that way when her shift ended. The humid night clung heavy around him, cicadas buzzing in the distance. When Amora finally appeared, her steps slowed upon seeing him. She held her bag tightly against her shoulder, her posture straight, her chin slightly lifted. The kind of stance that said she was guarding herself. "Amora," he said, his voice breaking the night air. Her eyes flicked to his, then away. "Greg, it's late. I need to go home," she said. "Please, just give me a minute," he urged. She exhaled sharply, but stopped, standing a few feet away, her arms crossed. 1 minute. He swallowed hard. His mind screamed at him to speak, to say everything, something, to bear it all. Or now, or never. "Greg, tell her before you lose her for good." His inner. But as he opened his mouth for the fear surged back again. Fear of losing her. If she knew the whole truth, all that came out was, "I never meant to hurt you," he whispered. Amora's eyes softened for a moment, but then hardened again. "Then why does it feel like you are, Greg?" Because, he repeated, his chest tightened. "Because I am trying to figure out how much of me you are ready to see." Her laughter was short and bitter. "That's not for you to decide, Greg. That's for me. But you won't even give me the chance." Her words sank deep. He reached for her hand, but she stepped back. "You are hiding something. I don't know what it is, but it's there, between us. And until you decide to be honest, I can't keep doing this," she repeated. She turned, then walking past him, her footstep firm against the gravel. Greg stood frozen. Her words echoed in his ears. "Until you decide to be honest, I can't keep doing this." The following day, Amora didn't just avoid him now. She evaded him. When he came near the terrace, she busied herself elsewhere. If he sat at the bar, she found another corner of the lobby to work. Even at the beach, where they once shared laughter, she remained distant, her back to him, eyes fixed on the horizon. Each moment was like a blade. Greg tried to write in his journal one night, hoping the words would release the storm inside him. But the pages stayed blank. His pen trembled in his hand. All he could think was, "She is slipping away." The truth pressed heavier with each passing hour. He had built walls to protect himself, but those walls were now driving her away. And if he didn't break them, he would lose her soon. It came to a head one evening when he saw her walking along near the shoreline, the sun sinking low and painting the sky in streaks of fire and gold. She looked like part of the sea itself, untouchable and tamed, and slowly moving out of his reach. He called out, his voice raw, "Amora!" She stopped, half turning, her face caught in the dying light. Greg dragged towards her, his heart pounding. "Please, don't walk away from me again." Her eyes glittered, but her expression was guarded. "What do you want from me, Greg?" she asked firmly. "Everything," he whispered, the word torn from his soul. "But I know I don't deserve even a piece of you if I keep shutting you out." Tears brimming in her eyes, but she shook her head. "You say the right words, Greg, but words without truth don't mean a thing, at least not to me." He stepped closer, desperate. "If I don't tell you soon, I'll lose you. And losing you..." He paused. His voice cracked even. "Losing you would destroy me." For a moment, she fluttered. Her breath itched, her lips parted, and her eyes reached for his face as if begging him to finally break the silence. But when he didn't, when he froze again at the brink of confession, she turned away. "You already are," she said softly, walking down the beach, leaving him rooted in the sand, standing alone. Greg dropped to his knees as the tide lapped against the shore, the taste of salt in the air. The truth throbbed inside him like a wound begging to be opened. He knew now, with absolute clarity, if he didn't tell her soon, he wouldn't just lose her affection, he would lose her completely. The thought of that hollowed him out. Chapter 14, Breaking Point. The night air of Negril carried a soft salt breeze, brushing against the palm that swayed lazily along the shoreline. The formal Sunday dinner at Charella Inn was in full swing, the grandest event the hotel had hosted that season. White linen draped every table, candles flickered in glass lanterns, and steeled band played low rhythms that melted into the hum of conversation. Guests were dressed in elegant suits, gowns, cocktail dresses, and the air smelled of spice, of ocean mixed with perfume and rum. Greg sat at a corner table. The weight of his tuxedo collar tightened than it should have been. He'd been invited by the manager of the inn, partially out of courtesy, partly because he was one of their longest-staying guests. But Greg hardly tasted the food, hardly noticed the chatter around him. His eyes were fixed on one person and one person alone, Amara. She moved gracefully among the tables, dressed in a simply yet elegant black dress with a white apron tied neatly at the waist. Her hair was pulled back, showing off her high cheekbones and the quiet dignity in her face. She wasn't one of the guests tonight. She was working. And for the first time in days, Greg saw her this close. Illuminated by candlelight, her presence both comforting and agonizing. He wanted to speak to her, to pull her aside or to beg her to hear him out. But she was busy, too busy. Every time he caught her glance, she quickly turned away, slipping into another table service, another polite smile, another excuse to avoid him. It hurt. So Greg waited through the meal, through the dessert, through the mingling afterward when the music swelled and couples drifted onto the dance floor. He sat at the edge of the evening, rehearsing in his head the words he should have said days ago. I need to tell you who I really am. I need to tell you why I left Boston. I need to tell you everything because I can't lose you. But the words never made it up to his lips. It was near midnight when he finally saw her leave. Amara had changed back into her own clothes, jeans and a light blouse, and carried her bag closely on her shoulders as usual. Greg rose quickly from his table, slipping out at the hall to follow in a distance, his pulse racing. She walked briskly down the back road, the path that led toward the staff housing. But she wasn't alone. Beside her walked a tall man, broad-shouldered with an easy smile Greg could see even in the dim street light. The truck that was passing, he found it annoying. He laughed at something Amora said, and she laughed too. A real laugh, unguarded, the kind that Greg hadn't seen at all from her in days. The sound sliced through him like a blade. Jealousy flared, hot and irrational, twisting with the ache of everything left unsaid. Greg's pace quickened until he closed the distance, his voice sharp in the night. Amora, he called. Both she and the man turned. Surprise flashed across her face. Confusion furrowed her brow. Greg? What are you doing here? Greg ignored the man, his eyes locked on her. Who is this? He barked. Amara stiffened. This is Devon. We used to work together. He's just walking me home, that's all, she assured. Devon extended a hand politely, but Greg didn't take it. His chest burned. Walking you home? In the middle of the night? The tension in the air thickened. Devon looked from Greg to Amara, sensing the storm, and gave a small nod. I'll leave you too. Good night, Amara. See you, said Devon. When he walked away, Amara's eyes flashed with anger. What was that? What do you think you're doing, Greg? Greg's voice was low and unsteady. What do you expect me to think? You have been avoiding me for days, and now I see you laughing with another man in the dark. He barked. Don't you dare, Amara cut in, her voice trembling with both fury and hurt. Don't you dare reduce me to some secret affair. Devon is a friend, that's all. The only reason you are standing here accusing me is because you won't let me in. You have shut me out, Greg. Her words echoed in the humid air, raw, unfiltered. Greg raked a hand through his hair, pacing a few steps as his control unraveled. I can't lose you, Amora. I can't. But you don't understand. If I tell you everything, if I open up, I'll lose you forever anyway. Her breath caught. She stepped closer, her eyes searching his face. Lose me, Greg? You already are. Every day you hold back, every time you close yourself off, you are pushing me further away. Do you think I haven't noticed? Do you think I don't feel it? he barked. His silence was a confession. His heart thundered, begging him to speak, to finally spill everything, to tear down the walls he had built. But fear gripped him still, fear of her seeing the truth that he was not just a man running from suffocation in Boston, but a man who carried the weight of his family's empire, the shame of his privilege, the stinging of betrayal from his own parents. Amora shook her head, tears gathering in her eyes. You think this is about perfection? About your mistakes? It's not. It's about honesty. I bare my soul to you, Greg. I have told you my past, my failures, and my heartbreaks. And you? Her voice broke. You gave me shadows. You give me half-truth. And then you dare to stand here, jealous over a friend, when you won't even trust me with the real you? Her words left him gutted raw. Greg stepped forward, his hand reaching for hers, but she pulled back. I need space, she whispered, her voice shaking. Until you can be honest with me, completely honest, I don't know if we can do this. And with that, she turned, her figure fading in the night, and left. Greg stood rooted in the road, the sound of her footsteps retreating, cutting deeper than any argument. His chest heaved, his hands trembling. For the first time in his life, he knew he had reached the edge. Chapter 15: The Unraveling. The following week stretched like a wound that refused to close. Greg woke each morning to the sound of waves crashing against the Negril shoreline. But where the ocean once soothed him, now it mocked him. In endless rhythm only remind him of the silence that had grown between him and Amora. She was there. He saw her moving through the inn, smiling at guests carrying trays, her laughter floating across the lobby. But it was no longer his. She had withdrawn her light from him, and it left him hollow. Each time their eyes almost met, she turned away. Each time he drew closer, she found a reason to leave. And though her absence in this world felt unbearable, Greg could not force himself to bridge the chasm. His secret still passed against his chest like lead. Life has a way of cornering us with choice no longer waits politely. It demands. It was a Thursday evening when it happened. Greg had been invited to join a few locals for a game of dominoes at a small roadside bar not far from the inn. He went, not for the game, to quiet the storm in his head. The place smelled of jerk chicken and smoke, the sound of laughter spilling out onto the street. He hadn't expected to see Amara there. She was at the far end, sitting with two girlfriends, her posture tired but her face lit by their easy chatter. Greg's chest tightened. She looked alive in a way he hadn't seen all week, but it was a life that seemed to exist without him. Their eyes met once, accidentally. Brief, and for the first time, she did not look away. She held his gaze, but what he saw there wasn't anger, it was pain. A storm of emotion rose in him, but before he could act, the night shifted. A group of rowdy men, already half drunk, pushed into the bar. One of them recognized Amora, called her name too loudly, and staggered over to her table. Greg could see instantly that Amara was uncomfortable. Her friends trying to laugh it off, but the man leaned too close, his words slurred, his hand reaching toward her arm. Greg didn't think. He moved. By the time he reached them, his blood was pounding in his ear. "Back off," he snapped, stepping between Amora and the man. His voice cut sharp, his stance iron. The junk sneered. "Who you?" "I said back the F off." There was a moment, tense and electric, but the bartender intervened quickly, ushering the man and his friend outside before the night erupted into chaos. Greg turned, his breath unsteady, his eyes meeting Amora's. She looked shaken, her hand still clutching her bag tightly. "Are you okay?" asked Greg. Then nodded. "Are you okay?" she asked, but her eyes searched his face, and something inside him cracked wide open. He didn't answer. "Amora," he finally spoke, his voice breaking. "I can't do this anymore. I can't keep hiding." Her lips parted slightly, confused and longing flashing across her face. "Then don't, Greg. Just tell me the truth," she whispered. And at last, the dam inside him burst. "I left Boston because I couldn't breathe there," he began, his wounds trembling out, rage raw. "Because everything in my life was decided for me before I ever had a chance. My parents, they aren't just doctors. They run Harvard medical empire. They built me to be their legacy. And when I refused, when I said I wouldn't marry into a family they chose, wouldn't bind myself to their business deals dressed up as love, they cut me off. They fired me. They stripped me of the career I've worked for. And worse than all of that," his voice cracked. He couldn't speak for a second. He pressed his hands to his face, shaking his head. "Worse than all of that is realizing that my parents never loved me. Not really. I was their project, their prize, their transaction, and I couldn't. I couldn't keep living as if that was enough, because it wasn't." Silence stretched heavy, broken only by the chatter of the bar fading into the background. Amora's eye brimmed with tears. She reached out slowly, her fingers brushing his wrist, arching him. "Greg," she whispered. He shook his head, his chest waving. "I didn't tell you because I thought you'll see me as one of them, some rich boy running away from his problems. I was ashamed of who I am, ashamed that all this wealth means nothing when I can't even have my parents' love. And I thought, if I told you, you'll walk away." Amora's hand tightened on his. "And if you didn't tell me, Greg, you see what that does? It makes me feel like you don't trust me at all, like I am not worth the truth." His breath shattered out of him. For the first time in years, the weight of his life, his shame, his brokenness lay bare before someone else. Amora studied him, and then, with trembling sigh, she whispered, "I don't want your perfection, Greg. I want you, even the broken parts, especially the broken parts." Her words unraveled him completely. Greg bowed his head, his forehead resting against her hand, the tears he fought for years spilling freely. "I don't know how to do this," he admitted. "I don't know how to love without running or ruin it." Amora leaned closer, her voice soft but firm. "Then let's Let's learn together, but no more walls, not with me, she said. That night, as they walked out of the bar side by side, the sea wind sweeping around them, Greg felt something new in his chest, not the weight of shame, nor the fear of losing her, but the fragile, terrifying, beautiful possibility of being truly seen. For the first time, he didn't want to run. Chapter 16. Shadows from Boston. The days following Greg's confession moved like fragile glass. He and Amora walked carefully, almost tenderly, as if afraid the smallest misstep would shatter what they had just begun to rebuild. They talked late into the nights, the sea and the quiet verandas, about little things, deeper things. Greg felt lighter, freer, like he could finally breathe again. Amora's presence wrapped around him like something steady, like the ground he'd been missing. But peace, he learned, is always brief when the past isn't done with you. It was a Saturday morning when the call came. Greg had gone into town for breakfast, choosing a small cafe off the main street, away from the inn. He sipped his coffee slowly, trying to put his thoughts onto paper in his journal, when his phone rang. Long ignored, often silent, and it buzzed again against the table. He glanced down at the screen. "Mother?" he exclaimed. The name alone froze him. He hadn't spoken to her since he left Boston, hadn't answered her calls or replied to her fits. Formal emails, his chest tightened as the phone buzzed again and again. Finally, almost against his will, he swiped and answered. "Gregory?" Her voice was cold, clipped, but behind it rang a current of something sharper, anger. "Mother," he said slowly. "So it's true," she continued, her words slicing. "You have disappeared to an island, hiding like a child? Do you know what kind of shame you have brought on this family? Do you know how much damage your little rebellion have caused?" Greg ground his teeth. "I know exactly what I've done. I have finally stopped being your puppet, Mom. You have disgraced us," she snapped. "The Hendersons are furious. Do you understand? Furious. Do you think they'll just forget that you broke off the engagement? That you walked away from decades of business ties? You have endangered more than your career. You have endangered everything we have built," she screamed. He let out a bitter laugh. "You have built, not me. You never built anything for me." There was a pause, heavy, before her voice lowered into something sharper, colder. "We know about her," she barked. Greg's stomach dropped. "What? That woman? The one you have been seen with? Do you think Boston society doesn't watch? Do you think people don't talk? Photographs circulate, Gregory. We know she's local, a waitress, an artist. Whatever she is, she's not suitable. Not for you, not for the James name." His grip on the phone tightened. "Her name is Amora, and she's worth more than every boardroom you have ever bowed to, Mom." "Careful," his mother hissed. "You already are an embarrassment. If you continue with this girl, you'll be cut off entirely. No inheritance, no return to medicine in the States, nothing. You know what? We'll have destroyed your future completely." Greg's heart pounded, the threat crashing against the fragile joy he had only just begun to taste. "I don't care about the money," he said, his voice rising. "I don't care about Harvard. I don't care about your empire. Don't you get it?" "You will. You will, son," she said coldly. "When she leaves you, when she sees what little you can give her, when she realizes you chose her over everything else, she definitely will leave you." And then the line went dead. Greg sat frozen at the coffee table, his chest heaving, his hands trembling. The coffee grew cold. The world around him was just a blur. He felt 12 years old again, standing in the shadow of his parents' mansion, being told how he would live, who he would marry, what he would become. Only now, the weight was heavier, because this time it threatened Amora too. The night, when they finally sat together by the sea, Amara noticed the distance in his eyes. "You are far away," she said softly, drawing her knees to her chest. Greg stared at the horizon, the waves crashing under the moonlight. "My parents called me earlier," she tensed, and he exhaled, the weight of the conversation pressing him down. "They know about you. They know I am here, and they don't approve. They are threatening to cut me off completely." Amora was quiet for a long moment, her eyes searching his. "Greg, they already cut you off when they chose their pride over your happiness. What else do they think they can take?" she asked honestly. "They think they can take you," he whispered, the words breaking inside him. "They think you'll leave me once you realize how little I have. They think you'll see I am not worth the sacrifice." Her expression softened, and her eyes carried fire. "Greg, I don't love you for your wealth, or your family's name, or the career they dangled in front of you. I love you because you are with me. I see the man behind all of that, the man who fought to breathe again, the man who held my truth when no one else would." His throat tightened. "But what if they try harder? What if they drag me back? What if they ruin everything here?" Amara leaned closer, her hand covering his. "Then you fight harder, and you don't fight alone, not this time." Greg turned to her, his eyes wet, his chest aching with the weight of fear and the relief of her words. He'll spend his whole life battling his parents, control, their endless reach, but now, for the first time, he wasn't fighting only for himself, he was fighting for them. As the wave roared louder, Greg realized something with startling clarity. His parents' threats were not the end. They were the test, and he was ready to choose. And guys, we will stop here for today. Wow. Now that Amora and Greg, they have finally stepped over a threshold of secrets and men, the hurt that they were facing between each other, the hurt of him not opening up. And now that he have finally cleared the air and they have finally started, to feel good about themselves and their relationship, here comes Greg's. Of course, as most wealthy people who have their trust fund child and everything mapped out for their life and feel threatened by an outsider who they consider to be of a lower class, threatening what they have for their child. She's barking and she's showing her ugly head of power. Will this destroy the relationship between Greg and Amara that they have just started to build? Will Amara keep her word, stay by his side, stand there and, strengthen him, encourage him, cheer him on as they move on to a next leg? Or will she run for the hills, as we like to say here in Jamaica? Stay tuned to see. And Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. Continue to pray that the Lord will help us all to recover from all of this. And you have come to the end of the video. Thank you. Remember to like and to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until we meet again,